Oh, there we go. Good? Can you hear me? That's fucking retarded. It's always DNS. Damn. 8 minutes of just people like, this motherfucker just, why is he not saying shit? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, there you go. Never mind. The VPN unnamed country got compromised and now he can't. Hell yeah. Um, it's kind of funny too. I just switched it to default. What up, brother? I've been good. How about you? I switched to AMD, so I am super cool in base now. I hate NVIDIA so much, I went out and bought a pre-based GPU, which is super awesome. Okay, based. My first PC build was a AMD K6166. I don't know what that is. Which AMD did you switch to? Just my GPU. I have a 9600, 9060 XT. It's it literally. I paid the same amount that I did for my Nvidia like 4, 5, 6 whatever years ago. A while you know almost 5 years ago. Same amount, and motherfucker, I get double the VRAM, double the VRAM. VRAM. Actually, the crazy thing is, audio worked right out of the gate. No issues with audio coming out of like my like the videos I watch. No proprietary drivers. Literally took me like less than 2 minutes to install, and it's smaller. It's so much smaller. My Nvidia GPU needed a fucking uh uh GPU sag brace to prevent it from sagging. It was so fucking heavy and huge. I, and their performance is like very close to each other. What is it? Where is it? K6 was the CPU AMD built to compete with the premium. The Pentium. AMD didn't build it. Next Gen did. And AMD bought them and then scrapped their own K6 to release this better chip. Oh, okay. I would like a Threadripper just for the funnies, so I can do the meme. The only problem with the K6 is that it had relatively poor FPU compared to the Intel's Pentium. Yeah, Intel does some good things. That's better. This is like 1995 shit. Oh, okay. Boomer moment. I have an Intel GPU and I like it with cubes. Like no issues. 166 equals 166 megahertz. Okay. I still have a lot of tweaking to do, and I'm going to remove my NVIDIA packages that I do not need anymore that I spent time compiling and adding. But if you look, fast fetch. Look at that, beautiful. Look at all that RAM. I would say that AMD is commitment to open source is the reason I like it. I'm gonna eventually have to get get my games working. I did. This is some pro tip for anyone that's if you have Monero, if you own the illegal Monero, uh, Let's do that. We're gonna look at Frost still. It's a very interesting concept. The two that I've always bought, just whatever gave me the best bang for the buck. Usually AMD, but surprisingly, occasionally Intel. Yeah, Intel has some good performance. Their GPU is actually pretty based. But I agree that the two that I'm going to do core was 85, and all you had to do was overclock it from. Okay. I've never overclocked my PC, to be completely honest. I've never had a need though. I've never. I know there's overclocking competitions, and that's to me kind of gay, but to each his own. I would say the best option is to use your noodle and whatever works best for you. How's it going? What are we talking about? We're going to be revisiting that SSDs can spy on you, which is it's kind of crazy. Okay, let's do this. My XMR. Okay. Test connect. Could not reach RPC while it is running. Connect Glowstar to your own Monero wallet RPC to see your real balance. Okay, so we're gonna see. I'm gonna work on that later. But the point, look at this. The point is to make Monero as integrated as possible. This is Monero.com. I'm trying to see if there's a possibility to do a dollar cost average to be like you should buy this when XYZ. Later, Billy. I'm still using the 1080 Ti. That thing is perfect if you're using 1080p. I've heard the 1080 Ti is one of NVIDIA's best GPUs they've ever made. Like dollar per cost performance. I know people that still run it. Uh, I don't know who. No, I don't know who that is. Wow. DDRAM, also DDRM. That's funny. The 10Ti is literally the best GPU ever made. That's when NVIDIA actually fucking cared. That's the sad part. And the problem is currently, it lags high behind the best, but it still has 11 gigs of VRAM and very good. Oh, I didn't even know they had 11 gigs of VRAM. That's fucking crazy. The Ti is it's pretty old too, because the card is too damn good, along with the 1080 to a lesser extent. Yeah, I got 16 gigs of VRAM. I've considered doing the 24 gigs, but I was like, nah. I'm not going to have a need for it. I think I've made it this far with 8 gigs. 8 gigs is unreal and unusable. Even 11 is better than 8 for a modern GPU. This is why people still love the 1080 Ti. I wish I had recognized what a good GPU it was. You could buy these for like 750% like 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm assuming, yeah, it's. There we go. There we go. Okay. You talk about SSC spying on you, and supposedly hardware is built with vectors knows only to the FBI, CIA, currency in Germany. They had. I try to steer away from the word backdoor because I think people, and this isn't like a shot at you or anything, but the term backdoor is being overused to the point that it devalues a lot of it. This isn't a backdoor. This is an exploit. And those are two separate things. Anything can be exploited. The more bloat that we add, and it's cool. It's very cool to know like that this has like been theorized beforehand because it probably is. NVIDIA would sell the TDI for at least $2K today. It was basically the top spec die with just a little less VRAM. These days they don't even sell the best die. Yeah, they only sell it to like data centers and AI. I think that people have resorted to buying like Tesla GPUs or something. But the term like totally agree with the term backdoor. Yeah, I think it's hyperbolic. So this is more of an exploit. The exploit is because SSDs have a high from what I understand, we haven't gotten that deep into it. They have a high frequency and they are abusing a browser, something called a browser. I wouldn't call it a plugin, but it's part of the browser. It's called a OPFS based timing attack. These are super, super esoteric vulnerabilities. It's good to be aware of them. It is overused, yeah. It's good to be aware of them because it shows you that this can happen, and the possibility of it happening to the average user is probably next to nothing. But the fact that it can happen is cool, and it should put into your noggin about what websites do you visit, how do you and what can you do to mitigate it. Does CubesOS solve this? Because all cube systems are segmented. Does this only affect one cube? Does this affect the entire system? Does this affect the entire PC? They've hit this with a very high accuracy rating. So I don't know if this is even affected on CubesOS. But you have to remember, update your system. Be careful what websites you visit because there is a possibility of linking to you or tracking you. And remember to update everything that you can. If this is a hardware flaw or hardware security flaw, you might as well just ignore it at a fundamental level, because the odds could you get in a CPU inside of a SCIF with this? Probably not, because SCIFs are supposed to be not connected to the internet. If it's air gapped, ideally probably no, but they have exploited air gap PCs. They've found a way to dump passwords via RAM or something. Air-gapped PCs are kind of an interesting topic to even think about. When you look at the security model of air-gapped PCs, they're actually less secure because they never get updated practically because they don't touch the internet. So they could be sitting. It's a pro and con thing. You, on one hand, you could be sitting on a vulnerable machine because it's sat for so long and it's never been updated. You could be sitting on vulnerabilities that have been around for a very long time, and they can exploit the PC. I have used Windows without any antivirus since 1998 and never gotten a virus. The way you use the computer is far more important than obscure potential vulnerabilities. For sure, yeah, I agree with that. Though Windows Defender is actually good, unironically. You don't need it. Actually, you're correct. You don't need antivirus. But yeah, social engineering is probably more dangerous than most exploits. I would never use Windows because it's proprietary and it's terrible, but surprisingly, Windows has a decent amount of good security built into it, and Windows Defender is actually pretty good at what it does. Is it perfect? No. Nothing's perfect. I mean, Firefox just did a paper where they announced, Windows Defender is actually deviant. The only computer I use is a track phone from Walmart I bought a year ago, and I haven't updated it once. Well, I don't. Like you use one of the. When I think of track phone, I think of like fucking like a flip phone for some reason. I would still update your software, but those cheap, inexpensive phones probably don't even get updates, so you're not really in the most ideal environment anyway to begin with. I still don't use it, but it makes sense to install another antivirus. It makes no. It doesn't. If you're going to use antivirus, use Windows Defender. It's that simple. Windows Defender does dig its balls deep into your files because that's the point. It needs to defend and check everything. It can't be half-assed. I do think common sense is a good tool to have, but I believe that is taking the security of the product and this is my only argument against I just have common sense. That is taking the security away from the developer and the operating system when it should be rested on them and not the user. I can hear John McAfee right now. John McAfee is kind of a fraud. I'm not a hater of John McAfee. I'm just not a fan of him. I'm very neutral on his perspective. I can't wait to buy a Motorola phone with Graphene OS. I would wait. I have a Pixel 7a and I'm refusing to run any other thing. I'll never use anything else, but I would wait. People are saying because I mean I love Lenovo ThinkPads, but Lenovo has a pretty terrible track record. I would wait. I wouldn't do the first rendition of the Motorola. I would wait for the second. Because the problem is if you say you get the Motorola and they're like, never mind, this isn't working. We're not gonna do this. And then you're kind of like, because they're only doing it on their flagship phones. Graphene OS gives the cheapest barrier of entry into it. You can get an A model for $500. I think he was telling the truth about mainstream antivirus being basically useless. Yeah, I'm not saying all his takes are wrong. He was right on Monero. He's right on the corruption of like the U.S. government, but I think everyone kind of already knew that. Antivirus is pretty much basically useless. I'll put an example. I don't really like Alex Jones. I don't think he's correct on pretty much anything, but there has been things where he said where it's been correct, but he was already like regurgitating stuff that we already knew. It's like cool. It's like when people are like, guys, your phones are listening to you. Yeah, no shit, we know. We were just called schizophrenics, a couple of, but there's a good reason why people dismiss hyperbolic, over-sensationalized conspiracy theories is because you are presenting it like a schizophrenic man. Isn't Graphene OS been proven to be created? But no. If Graphene OS was created, I mean, it's open source. The thing is, like, I don't think open source is always the answer. We've had vulnerabilities and actual backdoors put into open source software. I'm not using that in a hyperbolic way. It's really cringe that I even said it, but there has been definitely malicious intent built into a lot of open source projects. I mean, it's not inherently new, but I would say it's not even close to. Like, a good example of this is actually, so the Tor Foundation got huge donations from the government. I don't want to say it was birthed from the government, but it definitely existed and had a lot of money laundered into it to exist, because the government does care about being private, just not you. Government's like, hey, we want to be private and anonymous as possible, but you, hell no. So that's the real issue. But also, there's tons of even if it was created by the CIA, it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a more secure and better option than stock Android, and it's better than everyone having to go to Apple. I must get water. My balls. I thought Tor was built by something like that. I mean, it depends who you ask. I mean, if you've used Graphene OS, then you know what it's about. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying I believe it was created by. I mean, even if it was again created by the government, who cares? Oh, I heard about the CIA agents going around to crime organizations selling these. That was Anon. And I'm going to explain Anon real quick. The Anon phone was because I know where he's coming from. So I get where he's coming from. The Anon phone, and I'm going to be because I don't think you're being malicious or anything. A lot of people get privacy and security wrong. Anon was a multinational organization by Pol, I believe, Interpol, where they caught a guy fucking up, and they essentially said, you either help us or you go to prison. Forever. So, it was pretty much an informant who got caught. I forget how he got caught, but it's not important. There's Darknet Diaries does a really good oh damn I wouldn't say interview, but he does a really good job at explaining the Anon phone, scenario. I was really about to type that when you said it. Darknet Diaries, yeah. Yeah, so the difference is in the easiest way is the Anon phone promised something that it couldn't deliver. It promised super secure, uncrackable. That might be where I heard it was someone yeah, for sure. People get information like mixed all the time. We're human. But the non-phone industry thing was, it's like you can't be. It's like you can't be hacked, and it had gimmicks that people don't understand. It had like, I hate to say it. This is a very simple thing to understand. If it sounds like a gimmick, it's a gimmick. Hardware switches are a gimmick. Apps that hide your other applications is a gimmick. It's security theater, essentially. When you have a product, but it made me think once I heard, unless you are building your own hardware or software, someone has. No, that's retarded. That's like saying if somebody, unless you make your own gun, it's someone, you know what I mean? Unless you make your own car, there are so many things that you rely on in society that you put blind trust into. You get in your car and it doesn't explode. You cross the street and the lights work. You fire a gun, it doesn't blow up in your hand. You don't want to be like an autarkic person where you're making everything yourself and assuming the worst. This is what I think. There are good people out there that make good software and good hardware and have the intentions of actually making sure that everything is secure, safe, sound, and not backdoored. Does adding open source add a level, not complete, a level of transparency? Absolutely. The Anon thing was the government using resources to catch people that they just disagree with. I disagree how they did it. I think it was terrible. But they were also promising they'll create a perfect phone for criminals. Yeah, because they're ignorant to security, and that's completely fine. It makes sense why people believe it. Hardware switches are a gimmick. Software hiding your other apps that change it to like a notepad, but it's really an encrypted messenger. That's a gimmick too. You can open up Android and see a lot. I mean, it wouldn't take a guy more than 2 minutes to figure out, to like open up and be like, oh, there's a hidden app here that has a different scheme, or like something's different. I'm not a developer on Android, but I've seen people talk about it. There are many things in society that you're going to inherently trust without any intent that this is malicious, even if it's closed source, even if it's proprietary, which I prefer it not to be, but we just do. I mean, this is why I can get in my vehicle or get on the bus or whatever and exist, and nothing bad happens. I mean, inherently, it doesn't like catch fire or explode. This is why when an Amish person builds a house, you're like, oh my god, this thing hasn't collapsed. It's still good for like XYZ. That's my analogy generally when it comes to people that think they have to build stuff themselves constantly. It sounds cool, but it's very time consuming, and you don't know how many mistakes you can make along the way. Hardware is the reason it's called hardware is because it's hard. Hardware security is difficult. This is what we're going to get into like when we look at through this. Not only hardware security is difficult, software is difficult. These things are difficult moving components that there's a really good, if you ever want to learn about hardware security, Matt Brown on YouTube is an excellent teacher. Those Amish people build an entire house in like 5 days. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and yet people trust it, and they do last a very well time because they have a long history of just knowing how to build stuff. They also have no regulations and red tape and all that other shit, but like that's beyond the point. And not that I have a problem with some form of red tape and making sure that scummy people don't exist, but there might be too much red tape, as I would say. But a good way to think about it is, but yeah, there's Matt Brown. He does a lot of, great channel. If you want to learn about hardware security, he's excellent. I mean, learning how to fuzz and learning how to go through hardware, like low-level code, is insanely a huge talent. It's such a cool space that I wish. I mean, even understanding how to what's it called? There's a name for it where you like, I can't think of the name right now. It's like not fuzzing, but it's like you find a way to over voltage like hardware and you exploit it. Like it's exploiting just by adding too much voltage, which is fucking crazy. Like having the just over giving something too much voltage, or changing something in the way it receives a signal is just enough to change its behavior. That's why it's a very difficult industry, and that's why those fuckers get paid, because they take the time to learn it. You don't have to be a math genius. You don't have to be the best programmer. You just have to have the willingness to learn. And hardware is always going to be under, like, nobody's doing it. And it's always, you can't have AI replace hardware hacking and engineers. And companies are always going to pay for it. The IoT companies are a dime a dozen. And if they're a real IoT company, they're going to pay someone to come out and make sure their shit's not fucking exploited. Yeah, like overclocking. Like, no, there's like it's like overvolting. There's like a way you can exploit. I've watched a lot of videos like in the realm of it, and there's like ways you can change the voltage of it, and it's, or like get root access to like a board or something like that. What's it called? There's a name for it. Overvoltage hacking involves manipulating hardware inputs. It uses, okay. Voltage glitching. That's what it is. Fault injection. This is, oh yeah, just dial the voltage up and see what happens. Yeah. Security researchers and hardware hackers use batch power bunch to specialize. Yeah, it's voltage glitching. That's the name. Glitching. Yeah, it's completely possible to do something, to bypass password prompts with fucking perfectly timed, sometimes down to millisecond, a glitch. Just think about that. That's fucking crazy. And then there's Life Overflow. He has actually a hardware hacking site too. That's really good information where they show you how to do stuff like this. I mean, there's been exploits with just by changing the voltage, physical modifications. Plundervolt, an exploit targeting Intel CPUs by manipulating the voltage supply to the processor to secure enclaves SGX. An attacker can force the chip to make microscopic calculation faults where carefully executed during cryptographic operations. These faults can be analyzed to extract sensitive data like encryption keys. Fucking bonkers. Just changing something as simple as the voltage can make a computer do something that it normally wouldn't. It's truly beautiful, honestly. Because the amount of thought you have to have, someone who's, this is why hardware exploiters are very, very sought after. And because that is because not everyone's doing it. Because it's not an easy skill. It's not something you just pick up and be like, oh, my balls. You know what I mean? Like, you have to actually think really deep about how electricity works, how computers work, how PCBs work, how the operating system intakes the input of the voltage. I mean, quite literally a super cool thought process. So if you have a lot of time on your hands and you're bored, take a router that you no longer use and just open it up. Look for if it has. I think it's called the J. You can buy. You can get entry level hardware hacking gear like really cheap. You want to start. Never throw a bunch of money into something you don't know if you're going to like it or not. It's truly a remarkable skill. Forever will be around. It will be around for AI will only enhance it. I've seen people do some form um of AI with it, which is kind of cool. And I would say even learning prompts, like understanding like the people. I Yeah, you know what iron soldering iron I have actually is the Pine 64. It's great open source firmware, super awesome USB Type C. I love soldering. It's a very relaxing thing. I will solder. I will make anything with. I'll just buy like projects just to do if they involve soldering, just to sit and do it. Minus the fumes. The fumes kind of suck, but it's a beautiful thing. It's truly all right. Yeah, the fumes are the worst. Need an extractor for that. The Pine pencil is great. So Pine 64 is working on watch, their Watch Pro, and I'm gonna fucking get it. It looks cool. They just sent out their dev kit, so I assume it's gonna be in the works, which is based. But yeah, you need an extractor. You can even 3D print one, guys, and be super cool. I left for a minute. Last thing I heard was that I need more hardware exploiters. We're just talking about soldering irons now. But yeah, you should. But it's good to have it's good to be suspicious. I mean, uh, long backstory short, I was a Calyx user. I used Calyx OS first. That was my first fork of Android. It's not custom ROM for the nerds out there. I used Calyx OS. You can even go back on my channel where I have it installed. And I was using it on a Pixel device. My Pixel decided to be like, hey, Calyx sucks. Just kidding. I forgot how I discovered it's because I discovered Calyx, I discovered Graphene OS. And I had a lot of misconceptions. I thought I was de-Googling. I was on the de-Google subreddit. I was de-Googling, you know what I mean? It's Clowntown. Google owns and touches a lot. And the de-Google ideology is pretty lame when you actually peel the layers back. And the reason it's lame is because everyone's like, anything but Google, but they'll put their stuff on insecure hardware. They won't care about whether they're getting updates or not from the firmware. They're like, I don't care as long as it's not Google. I don't care if it compromises my privacy or my security. Because bad security from a vendor equals bad privacy. It's not really two different things. People can argue left and right about they can argue up and down, left and right. They're like, oh, they're separate. Oh, they're separate. If you have an inherent program that doesn't handle your data properly and it leaks it all the fucking internet, what is that a result of? The security being bad and leaking your data all over the internet because it was bad. Simple fucking logic. It's not that crazy of a concept. Obviously, local first is the best solution. Making sure you run your own data center inside your house if you don't have a wife, because obviously they would never let you do that. And or husband, we gender neutral here. And making sure that you aren't signing up for every coupon app under the sun. Not spending money on data brokers because they're pretty much useless at that point. But using it as a tool to help you erase stuff on the internet. Graphene OS kind of solves this. The whole anti-Play Store, even though the Sandbox Play Store is much more efficient at protecting your privacy and security, it makes Google's system works around it. And because Graphene OS doesn't install Google Play services by default, or anything Google related, you have essentially a de-Googled phone right off the rip on a hardware system that is unfortunately owned by Google, but they care about privacy and security. The thing is, Graphene OS is forced to put it on Google hardware because other vendors don't respect you enough to put the standards up there. You discovered it like Christopher Columbus discovered America. What's up, Brian? Are you employed now? The problem is we're at a point where hardware vendors don't want to respect you enough to make a secure hardware device and follow basic hardware security practices. They don't care about you. So all these people defending all these shitty fucking off-brand companies, they're like, they let me rip my phone, guys. Well, I hate to break it to you, you're retarded. If you actually want to increase your security and your privacy, you install Graphene OS. Until otherwise, there is no other option. That's being taken serious. And Graphene OS even takes the notion of everyone should be doing this. It's not that deep. It's not like they're trying to hoard a secret or anything. They're like, guys, only we can do it. They want everyone to do it. It's not that fucking crazy of an idea, except for Ryan. His balls are crazy. Employed, using free internet outside a closed coffee shop. Sounds like Ryan's unemployed again, guys. The employment to the unemployment pipeline in software development is real. But the question is it a closed? I first bought the Essential PH1 aside from no headphone jack. It was a perfect phone, wider and not as tall, but had vanilla Android on it. I loved it. I was pissed to buy a Pixel. I get it. But then I put Graphene OS in it and it is way better. Yeah, I get it. No headphone jack, no removable battery. It sucks. It's kind of gay. I wish we had a way to increase user functionality of local only. And a lot headphone jacks are based. There's nothing wrong with them. They've always had a good use. Nice. Yeah, right. Yeah, and when I installed Graphene OS, I was like, this is based. I was like, this is better than Calyx. Calyx is very bloated and behind updates. And anyone that uses Micro G is using Google. This is confirmed. PinePhone fuck the world. PinePhone is cool in theory until you have one. But it's great. Local owning equals peer-to-peer for sure. I use I buy CDs still, and I'm a huge advocate of just buying your media. And that's not even a place of privilege. Like when people really like, they're like, that sounds like a place of privilege. Look, if you're spending $10 on fucking Spotify, spend $10 on a fucking CD. You can get 2 CDs for that. I know it's for the win, guys. I always say fuck the world. I don't know why. Also, Everphone with the headphone jack usually has an FM receiver in it, which is, yeah. I know it's for the win, guys, but I always say fuck the world. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Fuck Debian, though. But it's local owning is based, and I don't really care about expandable storage as much. I know that's a controversial take. Is it cool? Yeah. I just don't think people are I'm not saying go to the cloud or anything, but the expandable storage is like, eh. Do you need a hug? No. I need some goth baddies, guys. But I didn't know about the FM receiver. That's kind of cool. I just think bring back, at least if you're not going to bring back removable batteries, bring back the headphone jack, please, for the love of God. I'm tired of plugging in my fucking headphones into Type-C. A Type-C port. It was headphone jacks being removed, other than loading up my music and then taking some cat pics. How much storage do I really need? Sure. Play some Magic. I will. I'll do it Sunday. I gotta set. I just installed Gen 2. I still haven't set up my entire PC yet. Yeah, I will do one Magic request. Yeah, I use Type-C as a connector, just sucks in general. I disagree. I love Type-C. I am not a Type-C hater. I think Type-C has its benefits over Lightning and over USB, but I know what you mean. I have an MP3 player for my 3.0. Yeah, exactly. MP3 players are based. I wish I would have gotten the Tanagara, but there is another company emerging that's working on a not a competitor, but like working on a MP3 like almost it kind of looks like an iPod, like sort of. But I'm kind of sad because like I think people overestimate how much unlimited music they quote unquote listen to. Is like you can just buy CDs and enjoy them. I'm pissed that my vehicle doesn't have like a CD player essentially, but they make external CD players that you can put into your vehicle, which is based. The essential came with a small Type-C to audio adapter. After a few careful uses, I was getting retarded random button presses if I was. Yeah, that sounds awful. What is that? The Java phone? Is that ever going to release? This needs to come out. I would get this. I mean, I would never use Sailfish OS. I'll never. We should make our MP3 based off ESP32 Pico. Make a GitHub repo and I'll start coding. Right? Say Walla. I'll do it. My card doesn't have a CD player, but it does have a USB port for a thumb drive. My thumb drive doesn't. My thumb drive doesn't fucking pick up the MP3 player. It's retarded. I'm pissed. I'll make a GitHub repo right now. And I'll drop it. I'll make a Codeberg repo. Do. Hold on. Oh no. How am I gonna do this? Okay. Your thumb drive doesn't pick up MP3 player? You mean your MP3 player doesn't pick up your thumb drive? Are you drunk? Yeah. I like how sharp and angular a phone looks. Okay, I like the look. Don't get me wrong. It looks based. And you can change the skin or something. But it's going to be very expensive. It's like $1,000. All right, Ryan. Put your balls where your gay is. It's actually ridiculous how much better Linux is than Windows. Yeah. Oh, I did not mean to pun at all. We like puns though. Yeah, I mean Linux. Linux is better in the sense that it's the bloat isn't there, depending on the distribution you pick, and you can just hop. Windows is bloated. I mean, there are some security features and that do exist in Windows that should be on Linux. The sudo is a problem. I swap sudo for doas because doas is just objectively better. They should have written in Rust, to be completely honest, which would have been based. Do you want to use FreeRTOS? Oh, the uh oh, it's a microprocessor. Sure. Okay, there we go. Stop using AI. FreeRTOS is. I don't fucking know. It's a real-time operating. Oh, it's a real-time operating system. Oh, specifically for. No, I'm just fucking retarded. I can't read. It's a real-time operating system for microcontrollers. It's on their website. I'm just dumb. But now, nerd. Where is it? Okay, there you go. I made a repo, Ryan. You have to commit now. Watch, he's gonna commit malware. Commit malware. That'd be so funny. What's your GitHub name, Ryan? We like nerds. Ryan needs to drop his GitHub handle so I can add him as a merge. So the Tanagara is an open source ESP32 based music player styled after the early iPods. It's got a DAC and all day battery life. Which is kind of based. I just followed you. You have to share it with me. All right. C++ or Python? God, no Rust. I mean C++. I fucking hate Python. Okay, make the base in Rust. I'll do the rest. Like the base, like the base. Hmm. Don't comment. Stuxnet to the repo. Don't commit Stuxnet to the repo. That'd be funny. The new world Mr. Worldwide Mr. Worldwide virus. The frameworks, since you don't want C or Python. You could do C. US C++ or Python. I'm just a Python hater. Okay. Take a chill pill. No. ESP Theater or Pico? Yeah, the Pico would be cool. Picos are cheap. Never. AI based. AI replaced job. Probably the Pico. I like the Pico. They're cheap. Look, if you're not using AI to 10x your shareholder value, then you're doing it wrong. I'll even say that because I mentioned shareholder value, that I'm surprised that Evil Dojo hasn't emerged. He's a C++ dev enjoyer. They're the same price within a buck. Oh, I just like the Pico. I like Pico. It's so tiny. I was gonna a, quite a little bit ago. I was gonna take the Pico and use it as a. I was gonna use it as something. It was like what was it? Uh, a network time sync thing. Something to do with time. NTP. Something to do with NTP, but it's okay. I'm not gonna vibe code this crap. I'm not asking you to. I would say even if you know how to code, vibe coding is completely fine. You know what you're doing. You know where the mistakes are. I would if I could get to the repo. What's your GitHub? I'll invite you. Damn, that sucks. I could have bought a Pico today. We need to bring back the the MP3 player revolution. Mine, I'll make a new one. Hold on. For sure. No, no, no. If we use the Pico, no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, no external IC, but the DAC, local storage, and SDC. I mean, Bluetooth is kind of pointless. What's the point of Bluetooth? Bluetooth is pointless in a sense. Yeah, yeah. If you make a new one, yeah, I'll add you. You have no code on your GitHub. What a poser. That's the. You said make the repo, Ryan. What is it? Where is it? This is Ryan IRL, guys. We should make our own code MP. Debated. I'll buy the pieces, man. I would even say that we need an MP3 player revival. It would be based. MP3 players that can play Doom. Silence is golden. You know what? I wish the MP3 player will make everything in order. True. What up, Jay? I have Hi-Fi Walker MP3 player. Yeah, but it's full. Instead of doing it in the app, yeah, as it should be. We should we should have a place that allows us to listen to our music privately and not carry around a device that doesn't respect it. I mean, we're in an era where Spotify is taking over. Everyone needs a Spotify account. And I think because people have gotten out, Justin TV was good. I mean, it got bought up by Twitch for a reason. It was that good. We've gotten to the point where people are willing to trade convenience with Rockbox firmware. I don't like Spotify algorithm. Yeah, the algorithm sucks. Any algorithm sucks. How did we discover music before? It's not a crazy concept. How did we discover music before we had stuff like this? You just found it. You went into the abyss, and you discovered a way to find music that you love, enjoy today, without needing an algorithm. Music doesn't need an algorithm to exist. Yeah, you had the radio. I mean, tons of ways. Even beyond the radio station, you had concerts. You would just see a poster and be like, "Hey, let me go to this concert where it's like $10, and the Bussy's there." It's not always just the radio station. We should just go all back to FTP. Yeah. I've caught my rock station using the same Spotify playlist, or maybe the opposite. Yeah. But imagine how cool it would be AM radio and good music on CB radio too. Yeah. They exist. We live in a very dystopian area where you have to resort to less inferior technology. Lod said Bussy. Lod, he said Bussy. I have caught my rock station using the same Spotify playlist, or maybe the opposite. AM radio, good music. Oh, Lord, he said Bussy. Ah, Lord, he said Bussy sauce. I would say even there's a need for people to have some form of digital ownership over their media. It's not a crazy concept. You know what I mean? Ooh. Because, alright. Why does every bald person pretend to play hockey? I have to say both are gay. Well, he's going to code it himself then. Sorry, we couldn't find the Rapazi invitation. Is it possible the invitation was revoked or that you are not logged into the time for bed? I made the cut. What am I doing? Loud, he said, bussy. What? What do you mean? I fucking invited you. Wait, are you retarded? Invite to collaborators. I literally invited you. Time for bed, based. Oh. Where is it? Mm, mm. It's waiting for your response, Ryan. You even said that no code, so you quite literally have seen it. Where's my invite? Same thing. I got the invite. I need I need your GitHub repo. I need your GitHub. I need your GitHub username. We got the damn dare Chinese fucking MP3 players. I've been was way early. Artificial does not undergo experience, do not possess a body. It's funny. OXTG. You should invite Linus. Linus said the this repo is empty. That's the point. Why would it have anything? That's the initiative, Ryan. You should mind Linus. That'd be funny. Why is it empty? I am LMO, the algorithm, the Gorim Chinese. Stealing our Jarbits. Why is it empty? What do you mean, why is it empty? What kind of retarded question is that? Ryan said, is your repo private? No. Is it? Is it private? I'm just dumb. No, it's public. He doesn't code at all. Not even hello world. I even know hello world. Hello my balls. My repo's not private. I sent it. Yeah, it's public. Okay, I'll ask my cat how to code in Rust. Import OS. Okay, so if we're doing Rust, it's probably import Rust. It's important. Import. No, it's gotta be C++, man. I think it should be Rust because Rust based, but apparently audio with Rust is not ideal. Import NetBD. No, it can be Rust. Which microcontroller uses Rust? I remember pulling some stuff from NetMiko tutorial. Rust is a execution thing. But I forget NetBD is the proper syntax for the call. I think you can use Rust on Arduino's board, but I don't see why you couldn't use it on Pico. Motherfucker is waiting your response. So if it's C will be base, void, static 0. Arduino is C++. Is there an IDE for Pico for Rust? Good question. I think there is. Yeah, it's VS. Or void. Or void. Or avoid. Void print hello world. Hello world actually make you gay? Void void static. It's just it's just two nerds talking about what's the fucking right way to do it, man. Mm. Do, do, do. Which DAC should we use? Whichever DAC you can afford. They're money. No, they're not. Huh. I wouldn't use the Zoom though. Good one. A good one. Stack link set to 000. Should we use vacuum tubes? Ask your mom. I would say even no, we could just use probably whatever the Pico. Doesn't the Pico have an audio jack incorporated anyways? Use those floaty things in the pool. Those floaty things in the pool are what used to my mom is asleep, but I'll ask her when she's awake. That's the respectful thing to do. Don't wake her up. That'd be rude. I must obtain more adult liquid. I'll be back in 1 second. No, the Pico doesn't have a DAC. I'm not asking if it has a DAC. I wonder if it has an audio jack. Wouldn't Pico playback MIDI? LG think is V20, V30 is good. Does he even know what the Pico is? What a Pico is? Yeah, of course. Pico could play back MIDI. Is that shitty Taco Bell? No. I wish. Let's see. I don't know what actually the Pico can actually do yet. DACs are made up by audio nerds that want to be important. I miss it. Another battery life though. Crunchwrap Supremes have a special place in my heart, to be honest. They don't in mine. I say that with a love for Taco Bell. He's a fucking ad blocker, dude. No. You guys need to sit through the ads. That's content thief. I'm not a content thief.
The signal frequency. Using two op-amps, you can get a triangle and a square wave oscillator very easy with this circuit. And instead of using op-amps, you can make an oscillator with a 555 timer using this circuit instead and go up to 1 kHz. And another use is to control a load.
Audio nerds.
This project of a variable load? If not, you can check the video below in order to know what I'm talking about. Because for that project I was controlling the voltage at the MOSFET gate using this DAC module. With that we can precisely set the voltage in order to regulate the resistance of a variable load. And this was the schematic. And if you want to use a higher voltage than only 5 volts, you can always add an amplifier at the output with a certain gain. And another idea that I have in mind is to connect the DAC output at the input of a bar or boost converter like this one. The output of this converter is controlled by the voltage value set by a potentiometer. So instead of that, we can set the voltage without DAC, and like that we can create a digital supply, as I did in one of our previous videos. But this time, instead of using the ability to create a switching signal, we can use the dedicated IC of the converter, and we only have to change the voltage at the control pin. And that should make an interesting project, right? Well guys, that's how you can use the MCP4725 DAC module. You have the example codes and the library below ready to download. So check more info.
It is. Great Scott is great. It's Great Scott. I wonder what Pico's are dropped with.
Thanks again and see you later guys. Hey, so one more video that ends. I hope that you like it. Okay, so listen, if you want to buy my merch, my t-shirts, you have the link below from my shop. And I promise
I'm pretty sure this is Great Scott.
And also maybe you would comment below which one you like.
Not an FBI punny black clone would be funny. If someone clones me, that'd be funny.
And post my new t-shirts. So thank you for all the support, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for calling Capital One.
My name is Jenny. I could help you answer customer questions faster.
Use RAG with LLM and customize them without data for better accuracy. That's all we got.
That's technology at Capital One.
I wanna. It is. It's literally Great Scott, man.
Known for creating memories, no one wants to be known for cancer, but a treatment can be. Keytruda is an immunotherapy known to treat cancer. FDA approved
What,
for
man?
18 types of cancer. One of those cancers is a kind of bladder and urinary tract cancer called locally advanced or metastatic urothelial cancer. Keytruda.
This video has been sponsored by Ground News.
Wow,
Over the
Ground
years,
News.
I've done many projects where I turned completely inedible things into food, like that time I turned plastic gloves into grape soda and hot sauce, as well as that other time when I turned cotton balls into cotton candy. What I've been really wanting to do
I don't eat Taco Bell. I'm not gay. FDA approved my ass.
for a while, though, is to try turning children's glue into drinkable alcohol And at least in theory, this should be possible. This is because the main ingredient in most children's glue is a plastic called polyvinyl acetate, or PVA for short, and in its chemical structure, it contains all of these little groups here in blue, which are known as acetate groups. On their own, they aren't too special, but what I think is really interesting is that it should be possible to pull them off the PVA and to turn them into something known as acetic acid, which is essentially pure vinegar. Then after that, with just a bit more chemistry, I should be able to convert this acetic acid into some pure ethanol, which hopefully would be safe to drink. With that being
It'd be kind of based if you did that. Like imagine turning retard glue into ethanol.
said though, overall, I just thought that this whole idea sounded pretty fun to do, and I was also really curious to know what children's glue alcohol would taste like. So, despite the fact that I wasn't exactly sure how to do it, and that I very possibly might end up just completely failing, I decided to just go for it. So, I just went ahead and got started, and the first thing that I was going to need was, of course, some children's glue, and I ended up going with Elmer's, which seemed to be the most common one. I also
think
decided
so.
to go with a full gallon, which is about 3
I think he made some shit.
point. And this may seem like a lot, but I had absolutely no idea
But why does Elmer's glue have a goat on it?
how much PVA was actually in here, or how efficient the
Like, what is glue made of?
process would be. But with that being said, now that I had the glue, it was time to start turning it all into alcohol, where the first step was to get a large dish and to start dumping it in. This was because before doing any chemistry, I was going to have to get rid of all the water that was in the glue, which was at least around 50% of its volume. I also figured that this was going to be really simple, and that I basically just had to leave it out to dry, and I assumed that this was going to go relatively quickly. However, that was not at all the case, and it turned out that drying glue like this was excruciatingly slow, mostly because the surface of it just quickly formed a really thin layer, which prevented the water below it from evaporating. To fix this, though,
Neil Redhead does a lot of really cool shit. He's an interesting character.
figured that I just had to keep peeling away the thicker layer, and
This shit is an hour? Suck my balls. It's a cow for hooves. Hooves. That was the coolest. Base, true.
revealing the
Oh, it's a cow for its hooves. Oh, I didn't know that.
fresh wet glue below it. I also set up a fan off screen in an attempt to make this all go a bit faster, and at first, it seemed like it was gonna work. However,
I forget that like glue coagulates. Coagulates. It thickens to like XYZ, which is kind of fucking crazy. But what's more crazy is I have ended my ability to continue on. I appreciate everyone dropping by and giving their thoughts. Ryan going into the comments saying that he's gonna code for an MP3 player. If he doesn't, everyone shame him. Hit him with the shame button. If they don't, remember to donate $5 million to me. If you don't, you will get thousands of years of bad luck, almost generational bad luck, which is kind of unbased. But what is more based is you guys commenting below your what is your favorite cloud formation? Everyone's got a favorite cloud formation. You look at it, you use it, you're super based. And what's even more based is I'm out of here. Guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Whether you know it or not, super cool. I'll see you guys in the next live stream.